Imagine a world without your phone, without Wi-Fi, without instant communication. A world where a message across the ocean took weeks to arrive by ship. That was the reality until one man decided to challenge the impossible. This is the story of Guglielmo Marconi and the day he changed the world forever with a single letter. It's the dawn of the 20th century. The year is 1901. Humanity has tamed steam, conquered electricity, and is on the verge of taking flight. Yet long-distance communication is still chained to physical wires. Submarine telegraph cables, fragile and expensive, are the only way to send messages across the vast Atlantic Ocean. But Marconi, a young, brilliant, and incredibly stubborn Italian inventor, had a radical idea: wireless. He believed he could send a signal through the air across thousands of miles of open water without a single cable. Most scientists of the day thought he was crazy. They argued that radio waves, like light, travel in straight lines. The curvature of the Earth would surely block any signal from crossing the Atlantic. It was, they said, a physical impossibility. But Marconi was not just a scientist. He was a visionary. He had already proven his wireless telegraphy system over shorter distances, sending signals across the English Channel. For him, the Atlantic was just the next, albeit much larger hurdle. His plan was audacious. He would build a massive transmitter on the coast of Cornwall, England, at a place called Poldhu. This station was a beast of early 20th century engineering, the powerful spark gap transmitter designed to generate a signal strong enough to circle the globe. Its antenna system consisted of a massive ring of 20 masts, each 200 feet high, a testament to Marconi's ambition. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ocean, in Newfoundland, Canada, he would set up a receiving station to listen for the signal. But ambition often meets adversity. Just before the planned experiment, a violent storm tore through Cornwall, destroying the massive antenna array at Poldhu. It was a devastating setback. A lesser man might have given up, chalking it up to nature's wrath, but not Marconi. He quickly ordered a simpler, more robust antenna to be built. 2 160-foot masts supporting a fan of wires. Time was ticking. He then set sail for Newfoundland himself, arriving in St. John's in early December 1901. The weather was brutal. Gale-force winds and freezing rain greeted him and his team. They set up their receiving equipment in an abandoned hospital on a windswept hill overlooking the stormy sea, a place appropriately named Signal Hill. The receiving equipment was rudimentary by today's standards. There were no speakers, no digital readouts. The primary receiver was a delicate device called a coherer, which could detect faint radio signals. And for an earpiece, Marconi used a simple telephone receiver. To even have a chance of hearing the signal, they had to lift an antenna into the sky. But the relentless winds made it impossible to erect a permanent mast, so they improvised. Marconi and his assistants, George Kemp and Percy Paget, turned to kites. For days they battled the fierce weather, trying to fly a large kite carrying a long copper wire that served as the antenna. One kite was ripped from their hands and lost to the sea. Another attempt failed. The wind was their enemy, constantly threatening to dash their hopes against the rocky coast. Finally, on December 12, 1901, the wind eased just enough. They managed to get a kite up, soaring about 400 feet into the turbulent gray sky, trailing its vital antenna wire. The prearranged signal they were listening for was simple, yet unmistakable. The 3 dots of the letter S in Morse code. ... The team back and pulled. England had been instructed to transmit this signal repeatedly during a specific window of time each day. Inside the cold, drafty room on Signal Hill, Marconi pressed the telephone receiver to his ear. The air was filled with the crackle of static, the natural electrical noise of the atmosphere. He strained to listen, filtering out the pops and hisses, searching for a pattern. For a while, there was nothing but the sound of the void. The tension was immense. Had the skeptics been right? Was this all a fool's errand? And then, faintly, through the storm of static, he heard it. A whisper from across the ocean. 3 faint, rhythmic clicks. ... He listened intently, his heart pounding. Is it just atmospheric noise? A trick of his imagination? He handed the receiver to his assistant, George Kemp, without saying a word. Kemp listened. A look of concentration, then recognition, spread across his face. He nodded. He heard it too. A signal, generated in England, had leaped over 2,100 miles of curved earth and ocean. Arriving at this remote hill in Newfoundland, it was a moment that defied the known laws of physics at the time. What Marconi didn't fully understand was that the signal hadn't traveled in a straight line. It had bounced off a layer of the Earth's atmosphere, the ionosphere, a phenomenon that wouldn't be scientifically proven for another 2 decades. Marconi had succeeded through a combination of brilliant engineering, relentless determination, and a bit of scientific luck. The news, when it broke, was electrifying. It was front-page headlines around the globe. Marconi had done it. He had annihilated distance. The world suddenly felt smaller, more connected. The implications were staggering. Ships at sea could now call for help. News could travel across continents in an instant. This single event laid the foundation for everything we now take for granted: radio broadcasting, television, satellite communications, mobile phones, even Wi-Fi. Every time you send a text, stream a video, or listen to a podcast, you are experiencing the legacy of that faint 3D OT signal heard on a windy hill in 1901. Of course, there were still doubters. Some claimed Marconi had simply heard atmospheric static and imagined the signal. The lack of a physical recording, like a paper tape printout, meant he only had his and his assistant's word. But Marconi was unfazed. He soon followed up with more robust, verifiable demonstrations, silencing the critics and solidifying his place in history. 1909. Guglielmo Marconi was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for his contributions to the development of wireless telegraphy. But perhaps his greatest achievement was not the prize, but the world he helped create. A world where a voice, an idea, a call for help is no longer limited by land or sea. It all started on that cold December day with 3 faint clicks that echoed across the Atlantic and into the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey back in time fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the incredible moments that shaped our modern world. We'll see you in the next one.